Welcome to the Growing Your Financial Business the Woman's Way podcast. I'm Robyn Crane, and I was a financial advisor for over a decade. But before that, I was a singer-songwriter. And now, even as a mom of three with a teenager, toddler, and a baby, I run a seven-figure business helping women in financial services grow their businesses and make a bigger impact. In this podcast, I'll bring you financial advisors, industry influencers, and highly successful entrepreneurs to give you innovative strategies designed for women. So get ready to learn how to get in front of the right people, get more ideal clients, and be able to grow your ideal business so you can live your ideal life. Welcome to Growing Your Financial Business the Woman's Way, episode 1. Hey, we're here. I'm Robyn Crane, and here with me, very, very excited to have this guest, the best guest, Ashley Peterson, my COO of the company, and she's here to keep me on track and to make sure that I actually talk about what I want to talk about, right, Ash?
That's right. Episode 1.
Episode 1, we're here. So if you're a female financial advisor, if you are an insurance professional or you help people with their retirement, and you create your own destiny, like you really are able to make the money that you want. This is about you being able to truly create your ideal business and ideal life. And what really motivates us to do what we do to help women like you is that we believe that if we can help you be more successful in the industry, you will stay in the industry. And that's how we together, not just as a company, but as a community, we help increase the footprint of women in the industry. And as much as there's a lot of stuff out there, there's initiatives to help women come into the industry. You know, it's amazing. I love that stuff. You know, women and teams and different companies going into colleges and going into high schools and talking to them about finance and how amazing it is. But we're here to keep you in the industry, because as much as we can get more women in, it's a revolving door, because if you're not successful, you're going to leave the industry, right? So we found that a lot with their clients. Like, we're attracting a lot of women who've been in the industry a long time, and they've done amazing things being in the industry. They've helped a ton of people, and it's such a transformational industry where you can truly affect and impact people every single day. And then we've had people who are just starting and they're really excited they got into the industry because they're like, this is exactly what I want to do. I want to help people. And it's such a great opportunity to do that. But they're like, how do I do this, especially in this environment? But what I want those of you listening today to really get out of this is I want you to really think about why you got in the industry to begin with. Why do you want to help people in this way? Because money can be an extremely stressful thing. Money can be also an exhilarating thing. A lot of people, some people relate money to money equals wealth, right? And some people think wealth has nothing to do with money. And so it's such just like a crazy, definition of, what it could be and what it should be, or how it impacts people. But what we all know is that money impacts us every single day. And I truly believe that money just enhances who you already are. So if you're a giving person and you make more money, then you will give more. If you're a greedy person and you make more money, you're going to try to get more money and probably take from people. So I believe that the women that we're attracting to this podcast are truly the people who are here to make a bigger impact, that you truly want to give transformational value all the time. And especially now with the environment and pandemic and all that's been going on as we're recording this, it's a really challenging time for everyone. And it's also a challenging time for you as a business owner to grow your business when everything has changed, when you're used to meeting people face to face, when you're used to doing things by just building relationships because you care so much. And that care, that desire to serve will take you a long way. But when now you have to go from face to face to virtual, maybe, just doing phone calls or getting on Zoom where you're not used to it, or WebEx or whatever it is, it's a shift. And then to be able to prospect and actually drive the right people to you is already a tough task in a male-dominated industry, let alone to be able to do it now when you can't meet face to face. So we wanted to share some of the stories of some of our clients, and we wanted to inspire you to watch and listen to this podcast, to stay on this journey with us, because we know that you have to be the leaders, because people need you so much. And imagine, let's just say, let's take like a female executive. Sometimes I often tell my clients to target the most successful and influential people you can find. And everybody says they want to get in front of the right people and they want to meet more people that are more qualified. But then they start to get that imposter syndrome when they get in front of them, like, oh, maybe I don't have that much to offer. And maybe, you know, they're already set. And so many of them come back to us and they're like, oh, you know, I talked to this female executive and she says, I'm set. I'm like, what? How could they be set? Like, we got a 7-figure business. We're doing awesome. And I am not set. Like, I am by no stretch set. Like, we have coaches, mentors, we have team up the wazoo to help us be able to create those results and to be able to not just make more money, help more people, but also to continue to build our ideal business and have the ideal life that we want. And it's a constant moving target because we just want to make impact, more and more impact. But I believe that no matter how successful someone is, they need your help, because the most successful people on this planet, we need them, especially now during this time with coronavirus and everything that's going on. Like, we need them to be able to step up and lead. And if they're being pulled back, if they're like, if you imagine them, like they're floating up to I don't like these crazy visuals, but like floating up to the sky, like they can serve, they can rise, they can do what they're best at. And then if they have like shackles on their ankles and weights pulling them down so they can't lead, like that is a problem for our country, for the freaking world. So what you need to do as a financial advisor, as an insurance professional, step up and attract the right people and be the leader to them so they can be the leader that they're meant to be.
That was great. That was really powerful. One of the things I want to mention is how excited I am to be sharing some of the strategies that we're talking about, because these strategies aren't new things that we're teaching because of the pandemic. It's things that we were teaching before the pandemic and getting people incredible results around. So these aren't new strategies. These are old strategies for us and for our clients, but they're new strategies for the rest of the world. And so,
true.
Like, we're ahead of the game here. Yeah.
We have been teaching these things for a long time. And, but it's like, there is a crazy light, like shining on all of us to rise up and be leaders, and then to use different strategies, because we kind of like that. We're, you know, doing a lot of things outside of the box, different. And even though I was in the industry for a decade, I think part of the reason that we have all these different strategies is because I did what they told me to do. You know, I pounded the pavement. I did the make your list of 100. Yeah. Dial for dollars. And I mean, we called it that, right? Make your list of 100, talk to everyone you know, and then reach out to them. And many of you don't know this about me, and I don't always share it because it almost seems irrelevant, but I was a singer-songwriter before I became a financial advisor. And so as a singer-songwriter, just imagine this, you know, and by the way, I wrote cynical love songs. So I was a single singer-songwriter writing cynical love songs. And like that, you know, 6 weeks later, I got all my licenses. I became a financial advisor. Like as a songwriter, it was really fun, but it wasn't very fulfilling. And then I jumped into something where I really felt like I could make a greater impact. And I remember, and Ashley knows the story, but I remember I got this interview to become a financial advisor, and I thought it was so ridiculous. But because I just had no interest in money, and I had no interest in doing anything, and I wasn't good at math. I mean, I don't think you need to be good at math in this industry. I think it's funny when people say that, but I was good at relationships, and I was very driven. And I went to this interview only because I was moving from the South Bay, where I was kind of sleeping at my folks' house, and I was moving to the San Francisco area. And I had actually an apartment. I was staying. I was still like, I didn't have much money. I was a singer-songwriter, so I had roommates and stuff. But I was on my way in my little Honda driving up. I mean, they called me the day before and they said, "Can you make this interview?" And because it was the day I was literally driving to San Francisco to move, I was like, you know, I'll do it, because why not? I could use the interview practice. So I go there, and it's not like your normal interview. You know, I was in a room with like 10 people, and this woman's presenting, and I was 29 years old at the time. She was 27, and she's talking about how, you know, you can become a financial advisor and you can help people with their money. And I'm like, I need help with my money. But that's a great idea, theoretically, you know, and you can help them buy a house, and you can help them send their kids to college. You can help them retire. And I was like, wow, there's actually something noble about this. It's not greedy like I thought. It's not this whole, you know, make money and just try to screw people over. Like, that's so crazy that I thought that, but like, I just had no interest in the financial side. But the idea of getting good with my own money was compelling to me. And then this idea of helping people and really having much more fulfillment, because as a singer-songwriter, I didn't feel very fulfilled. Like, it was fun, but it wasn't very fulfilling. So that really compelled me. So I became an advisor, and there I was, you know, making my list of 100 with all these people, like my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my friends, and my friend's 29 years old, like not a ton of money. Right. And then I'm supposed to like, just all of a sudden like that, be the expert. And I felt like an idiot. Like I felt like I had no idea, and I didn't. And so I worked really hard. I did everything they told me to do, but I struggled. I mean, I think it took me 2 years before I really started to get a little bit more successful. And it was because even though I was still broke, I decided no more, I can't do this. Like I can't just tread water like this. It was hard enough, and I cared enough to help people, and I cared enough to stay in the industry, that I decided to find a coach. I invested a lot of money I did not have, thank you, credit cards, and ended up kind of working my way and doing things differently, because this guy that I hired was outside the industry, and that started to pave the path, right, for me to learn how to attract more qualified people, how to actually not just, use the strategies that it taught me, like just banging on, we never knocked on doors, but let's say pounding the phones, I definitely did. And I know a lot of people I work with now do door knocking, or at least did before the pandemic. And then like just networking. Like all we really learned was to call people we knew, that list of 100, and ask for referrals. Like it was our real job, because we were supposed to ask for so many referrals. We were actually, if we did an appointment and we didn't get at least 8 referrals, we had to basically write an essay. Did I tell you that? And we had to right, like on our little form, like what their objection was and how we handled the objection. We had to turn that in. It was crazy. And this is like, we're supposed to be growing our own business, but they were, very strict at first. And so I was pretty motivated to ask for referrals, but the caliber of referrals I was getting was pretty low, because I'm like, I'm working with people my age, because, my aunts and uncles weren't giving me their multi-million-dollar referrals. So that's how I started in the industry and got to 6 figures working with my coach and learning new strategies. And then, really people ask me this all the time. So I'll just say this, like, why did you end up leaving the industry? And I was talking to a woman today, actually, who's amazing. And she's an investment advisor, and she does the investments as well, which I never did, nor was I good at. I was telling her about how stressed I was, like managing people's money, how I kept making the wrong decisions, and how I just felt so bad, because I was good at helping them understand what they want and kind of help them understand to plan their life. I was good at the planning side, but the actual investment side, it stressed me out, and I wasn't great at it. I wasn't great at it at all. So a lot of reasons I left, but the main reason was because I was better at this and helping people make money versus grow money, which are totally different things. And now super, like, we just love what we do to help women, like you ladies listening out there, to really grow their businesses and make a bigger impact. So that's, I know we want to talk about some clients, but I was just thinking about, because I haven't talked about my journey for a while. I don't always tell people that anymore, but did I miss anything?
No, I think that's a great transition into talking about what it means to actually grow it the woman's way.
Look, can dudes listening to this use these strategies and make more money? Of course, like they can, but you know what? I tried working with dudes, and it's not as fun, and they're not as motivated in the same way women are. The women who are in the financial industry, I think, are truly, truly motivated to serve. Like we really want to help people. And I'm not saying men don't, but I think there's always that sense of relationship. That's like what's driving us, is to connect and to and really serve them at the highest level we possibly can. And I think, men are driven in many different ways. Obviously my husband, Ashley, you know him well, but he's so driven to serve, like even maybe to a greater degree than I am. So I'm not even saying that it's that we women want it more, but definitely the way in which we go about it is different, because he can just completely be like, oh, whatever, I don't really care about what people think. And he doesn't just say that. I mean, he really doesn't care about what people think. Now, this might not be every dude, but like my guy, he's like, fine. He can just like be like, oh, whatever. If someone wants their money back, or someone thinks this, or he hasn't gotten something out, he said, whatever it is, it's just like, it's like they can deal. For me, and for most women, it's like, even when that stuff happens, it knocks me down a little bit. Like I need to talk about it. Like I need to reframe it in my mind. I need to actively work to put myself in the right mindset to kind of get myself back on track. And now that's one example, but I think in general, and I'm a risk taker. Like I'm willing to take risk. I put myself out there a lot. Whereas, as a singer songwriter and doing that, singing stupid, cynical love songs and being willing to people not like my stuff, which I'm sure was what happened quite a bit. But I still don't, it doesn't mean I have such a thick skin. It's just that I'm willing to do it at this stage. Like with all the experiences with business, like I am very, very willing to put myself out there all the time in a way that's just like, even if it's scary, as I like to say, I choose impact over fear every time. And I think there's a lot of fear. There's a fear of judgment for women, like is the number one fear that I see is like, there's, we women, we're so afraid of people judging us that we don't put ourselves out there as much. We're so like, we want to do things perfectly. I would say that's the second thing. It's like, we let perfection get in the way of what's possible. Cause those are two of the huge principles that I teach when we're running the tag challenge. We have a challenge called the appointment generator challenge. It's 5 days and we're helping them get appointments on their calendar. And I have to really talk about how like what would your life be like? What would your business be like if you didn't have this fear of judgment? And then when they can get past that, they start doing what I tell them to do and it really works. And I really think what the woman's way is, it's continuing to be in your own skin, like that, just knowing that you're there for the right intention and staying in that intention, and then trusting your intuition because that's what you're best at, and then using strategies to help pull you along. And the strategies that we teach, which I believe is the woman's way, are strategies that you would feel aligned with. Not, like for example, they tell you make your list of 100 to talk to everyone and they're like basically as if working with your aunt or uncle shouldn't be a big deal. Like, that's a big deal. Dude, I was a singer-songwriter yesterday. Do you want to give me $1 million? Like, why would they trust me? Why would they like, they love me and they wouldn't trust me. And then, you learn from the industry or from your supervisors, like, oh, it's fine. Like, just put yourself out there because whatever. And yes, you have a team and that helps. But like, let's be real. You kind of have to prove yourself. When you were running around the house naked and like they see you as that little kid who sat on their lap and like, they played with you, whatever. I mean, it's like, they're not ready to just throw all their millions at you to manage. So that stuff is real. And so I believe like the woman's way is really about like, well, how do I find the right person that I want to work with? Let's say it's not your aunt, but it's a clone of your aunt. I like to teach this idea of clone your client. Like, what if it's someone like your aunt that's exactly like your aunt, but there's no relationship there where she saw you running around the house naked? And I say that because I don't know that I ran around the house naked, but my son sure runs around the house naked, like constantly. So maybe if you have 2-year-olds at home, you might experience that. But I'd imagine some of the people seeing him run around might not want, if he was an advisor, to invest their money with him. But that stuff to me is real. But I think the woman's way is really about the intention, being proactive, being intentional, leading with your heart, like truly leading with your heart. And then being coachable and open, which I think is more likely for women to be more coachable and open to new and innovative ways that are aligned with what you believe and that match what you think is right, the right thing to do things, not to be perfect, not in that sense, but to do what's right for people in their best interest. And I think that's a natural ability that we women have. And with those strategies and being coachable and with that heart and with that intuition, there is no mountain you cannot climb. There is no goal you cannot hit. There's nothing. And don't get me like, Ashley, you can probably help me with the analogies here, but yeah. There ain't no mountain high enough, right? I mean, we can do it, baby. You can do anything.
It's true. I mean, we've got a list of people who we're going to bring on as guests, but we can share a little bit of their stories now if you want. People who have gone above and beyond what they ever thought was possible by putting themselves out there. We've got some great examples of people who really put them, they put their neck on the line for what they believed in and what they thought was going to be impactful to the people that they were serving. I don't know if maybe you want to talk about Jessica Weaver right now.
Yeah, Jessica is a great example. So I remember actually the conversation with Jessica. I was at a conference. I think it was a Financial Planning Association conference. And I remember because I had to step out to do the strategy session with Jessica and I got on a call with her. I wasn't even doing Zoom at the time. And this has got to be about 4 years ago, something like that. And she was very kind of quiet and timid, but strong-willed, very of course, very heartfelt, very warm. And she was at a firm with her father and her brother. And to be real, felt like there was a little inequity there. Like she worked really, really hard and didn't necessarily feel like she was getting, paid as equally as maybe she should. but didn't know how to kind of step up into that, right? And she looked young, she was young, she dressed like she was supposed to be an advisor, wearing the blazer, having her hair back up in a bun, probably, I don't think she had shoulder pads. I don't know, did she? That would be like 80s, but maybe, but she was definitely like playing the part and trying to do what was right, and very conscientious, very, very like just the type of person, like she's gonna make it no matter what. And she was, gosh, I think she was 30-ish when we met, and she was doing 6 figures. So she was doing awesome. But I mean, she just needed to be unleashed. She had so much more to offer. And I remember one of the things she told me in our initial conversation, one of the problems, because we first start kind of talking about the superficial problems, we go deeper and deeper, deeper. But one of those problems was that they were doing a lot of retirement seminars, but they weren't converting very well. And it was just so much time, and it was just like a lot of ineffective strategies. And those strategies, and this is what we're going to talk about a lot of the podcast, is like, what can you do that's going to be more effective, that's more efficient? Because it's not like it wasn't working. But we talked a lot about, in our example, I use in a webinar where we talk about how she compared the retirement strategies where she made, in the course of a year at that time, she made about $63,000. And we compare it to what I call exclusive event strategy, which is really doing a smaller event that's more exclusive to your target market and compelling them to come using really compelling messaging and promising them what you can get them in a way that's totally compliant, of course. And we compared those two, and she did, in that same year, she did like 135,000. And it was like a fraction of the time, a fraction of the people, a fraction of the appointments. I mean, I think our closing rate was something like 80% compared to like a 30% closing rate. So there's really cool strategies we're going to bring to you in this podcast that will show you how did Jessica do it. But it wasn't just that. I mean, so much came from it, from her just being able to step into who she really is, to be able to own her own space, to be more confident. I mean, what happens so much is the confidence. I mean, I teach this thing we talk about called the belief loan phenomenon. It's in my book, Make More Money, Help More People. And I talk about this idea that your beliefs influence your behaviors, which influences your success, which everybody can understand, because the only reason you're listening to this podcast, that's a behavior, that's an action, right? The only reason you're listening is because of something you believe. Oh, this is going to be valuable. Oh, Robyn's not full of crap, hopefully. Maybe this is something that can help me grow my business. Oh, maybe this is a way I can make more money. Oh, maybe this is something that that's worth my time. Like, all those beliefs got you to actually behave in this way where you're showing up and listening and still listening. And then that's going to get you the success or get you the results you want. And that's going to instill more beliefs, hopefully empowering beliefs. And one of the things that I teach is, like, if you have limiting beliefs, which we all have, then those limiting beliefs could hold you back from taking the action. Like, maybe you don't believe you're confident, or maybe you don't believe you know how to do something. That was one of mine. Like, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. And so what I often teach my clients is they can borrow the belief. Like, just borrow my belief. I believe in you, and I have the systems and strategies. I have the behaviors. I have those processes that you can put into action. And then you get the result, and then you'll start to adopt the beliefs that you need to do more of those behaviors. I've been doing this, if you're seeing me, I'm watching it like a crazy 8, like an infinity sign, because it perpetuates itself. And I think that's a lot of what Jessica did. She learned the strategies, and, just like everyone, a lot of the women, they'll have limiting beliefs. She had some limiting beliefs. But then she was an action. I mean, she is an action taker. She was an action taker. She took action. And not only did she do those exclusive events, I mean, she just started to step into who she was. She got more confident because it just perpetuated itself. She really owned her personal brand. I mean, this woman created a holiday called National Pink Fix Day, where she actually has a holiday that's an official holiday because she now has related pink fix, like getting your pink fix, like getting your pink fix on as if it was a drug or something. So that equates to retirement for these women who are about to retire and don't know how, or don't know what to do, or don't necessarily have the confidence or conviction around it. And she's more than tripled her revenue. She's now, she's just incredible, very, very successful at a very, very young age. And she owns her own business, and she owns her own brand, and she does things differently. And that, I'm really proud to say that we had a big part of that. I couldn't have done it without her being the way she is, but we have helped her create that. And now she's helping not only more women who are in retirement or nearing retirement, but she's also helping more advisors to grow their businesses as well. So it's just that type of ripple effect is what we're all about. Because let's take a look at, again, like the whole purpose of this podcast is that we want to increase the footprint of women in the industry. And imagine, not only is Jessica is going to stay in the industry now because she's more successful and making more money and she's more congruent with what she does. But now she's going to inspire other women to stay in the industry because there are plenty of women struggling that I'm referring to her to now work with her. And then it's like to inspire other women to be in the industry. And that is how we're going to increase the footprint. Should we do one more example?
Let's talk about Lisa.
Lisa. Okay, these are great ladies. So Lisa's got a really different story. So Lisa Chastain, and you can look her up because both of these ladies, by the way, have best-selling books now, and they're just incredible women. And we'll bring them on throughout the podcast, so you'll get to meet them. But Lisa, she was a financial advisor and struggling for 3 years, where she didn't make any money. I mean, she was actually in the hole about $300 a month every month because there are a lot of expenses when you're building a financial industry. In fact, like it's crazy. As a singer-songwriter, I did start to obviously I wasn't making much money, but I mean, I actually didn't have any debt because I was couch surfing and totally mooching off of people. I'm not saying I'm proud of it. I'm just saying that was acceptable as a singer-songwriter. You can't really do that as a financial advisor. Not so cool. Struggling musician, it's okay. Back then, I mean, I then became a financial advisor, and then I started to get into debt, and then I got into more debt, and then I was really struggling. And you feel like a fraud. You're like, I totally have the imposter syndrome. I feel like, who am I to help someone with their money when I'm totally in debt myself? And I'm the only way I can get out of it is to grow my business, which is why, again, Robyn Crane here, I'm so committed to helping grow your business, because that's the only way the only way you can truly get out of debt and really, have more money is you got to have some to invest, as you guys know. So anyway, with Lisa, I mean, she was for 3 years, she actually didn't go into debt, but she was taking money out of her retirement account. And she had a really steady job before that for a few years. And then she was a stay-at-home mom for a little bit. But she then had built up $100,000 in her retirement account, which is pretty good for 30-year-old something. And then throughout those 3 years, she exhausted it all. So, I mean, she was just hurting because she had all these expenses to grow the business. Right. And then we started working together, and she quickly realized that as much as she liked being a financial advisor, the part she liked was really to help them with their beliefs and behaviors, to help them with coaching and help them really shift their habits. And since I had a lot of experience in that, had a lot of success in that when I was a financial advisor, because I created money coaching programs and such, she kind of modeled that and was able to build a money coaching business. And she got to 6 figures in the first year. And now she's doing amazing. She's been on CNBC. She's multiple times. She's been in Oprah magazine, actually both Jessica and Lisa have been Oprah magazine, Fortune, Entrepreneur. I mean, just incredible things. And so of course they're successful now, but also more importantly, they're making a huge impact. And both of them had to take risk because of it. They had different risks. Jessica wasn't in the same place that Lisa was. Both in this case, young, although I've worked with, women like Lauren Gidley, who she had to make $100,000 in 2 months. And she did it when she'd never done it before. And she had she turned 60 at her first SPEM event. Right. So that was just I love that as well. With women who I've been doing it this way for so many years, and she had a good amount of success, but then she needed a huge just burst of income and was able to create that. So we have so many stories that we'll continue to tell you throughout the podcast. But I think the main takeaway is this, if I wanted to do this episode 1 to get to know you, for you to get to know me. And to be honest, I was just Ashley was my little crutch. I was like, Ash, I don't want to just talk by myself, but I know I'll probably talk most of the time anyway. But we'll definitely bring Ash on and be able to have you talk about systems and time management as well. But I really wanted to have episode 1 be about this is what the podcast is about. We're going to bring women on here. We'll bring men as well. If they support having more women in the industry and have great ideas, of course, we want to bring on some really cool dudes also. But we're going to bring on some experts. Some of them will be in the industry. Some of them will be outside the industry, which I get really excited about, because if you can take an idea like digital marketing idea and be able to put it into your financial space, this is what's missing, is that you have that you're in this box, and what everything they're teaching you, everybody is doing. So what if you can bring other strategies outside the industry and be able to figure out how to do it compliantly within the industry, then you can have massive results. So we're going to bring you that. And then we'll kind of sprinkle it with some episodes like this, where maybe Ash and I will jump on and talk about some strategies that we're using with our clients, some strategies that work, tell you more stories to inspire you so that you know that this is possible. Because you being successful in this industry is just a decision. You want to be successful in this industry, you want to be more successful in this industry, you want to make your multiple millions, whatever it is that you want, totally possible. Totally possible. You just have to put attention to it. You have to put intention behind it. And then you need, the most important thing is you need the strategies. Of course, you need the mindset stuff too. We're going to work on that. But like if you get the strategies, the mindset stuff starts to come. And I'm constantly working on both simultaneously. So before we sign off, I do want to give you, we're kind of run, depending on when you listen to this, we often are running a challenge, and it's a 5-day challenge to help you get qualified appointments on your calendar. And you can either sign up to get into the next challenge, or you'll see that you can get on the waiting list to the next challenge after that. And I don't know how often we'll have them, but you might as well get in on that. So that you know when it's coming. It's, again, the Appointment Generator Challenge, specifically designed to help you get qualified appointments on your calendar in 5 days or less. If you go to femalefinancialadvisors.com with an ORS, advisors.com/tag-challenge. Tag-challenge. I know you can spell that and remember that, although even though you might not be able to spell my name, which is with a Y, you can remember femalefinancialadvisors.com/tag-challenge. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We can't wait to bring you really exciting podcasts and to continue to bring you incredible value. So stick with us on the next podcast, where we are going to help you, give you strategies and give you ideas and really, truly inspire you to build your ideal business so you can have your ideal life. So I can't wait to see you on the next podcast.